Money Moves with Myth 2.0, the podcast. And I always remember, gentlemen, it's a mother movie. So today we got yet another video that came down from the YouTube gods. Um, I haven't viewed it yet, but the description, the name of the video caught my attention. 33-year-old single mom, mother of two, the lesson she learned after her divorce. So, without further ado, guys, we're gonna react to this video. We always gonna leave a financial aspect and lessons that we can learn as men or women, you know, on what not to do, and we just gonna jump straight into content. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe.
Bad because I don't have a phone holder, but that's besides the point. I just came on here because I've been really, I've been unctioned. Like, I feel like God has been like putting it on my heart to speak about this because a lot of people go through it and nobody wants to talk about it because who wants to talk about divorce? You never get married to get a divorce. So when it happens, it's like, there's so much grief around it. There's so much shame around it. There's so much hurt around it. There can be hate around it. There's so many different emotions that you feel around divorce, and you feel alone when you're going through it. You do, but you don't. You know people who've gone through divorce, but do you want to talk about it? Like, how do you talk about?
It's kind of I think it's kind of different for a modern woman. Like if she don't have any children, then she goes through a divorce, but and or going through, and then she goes through a divorce with kids. You know, so you're gonna feel some type of way because you have something of that man's.
It, like all of the things. There's so many questions there, and a couple things that I've learned as I've gone through this process. Backstory: I was with my ex for about 15 years, married 5, and the rest of the time we were dating. We had
That's crazy. You guys hear this? She was with her ex for 15 years, married 5 of those 15 years. It's crazy that once you get married, once a modern woman gets married, you know, and she's with a man for like 15 years. That's almost 20 years. That's almost 30 years. You know, and then out of nowhere she comes and be like, "Oh, I don't want to do this no more. I think you're clouding me and stuff like this." And need to say that she has children by this guy. You know, it's sad. It's sad that people would take so much time from each other. 15 years. That's a lot of time that you could have been with somebody else. He could have been doing what he was doing. I'm pretty sure that this man has spent a lot of money. I'm pretty sure this car she's driving and the stuff that she have, I'm pretty sure this guy paid for a lot of this stuff. And now, what he gets for it? Nothing.
2 beautiful children, one 14 now, the other one 3, and our marriage ended. We grew up together, and it literally sucked because although the relationship was toxic and it wasn't good, you still have created memories with this person. You have built a life with this person.
So that's why I don't get when modern women say like the relationship became toxic. Like and you been and then they say they've been with this dude for 15 years. So out of the 15 years, when did you see the relationship becoming toxic? You know, and why is it that you have a 14-year-old and a 3-year-old? Is there some type of infidelity on your hand that you did? You know, the reason why this guy and you guys are not together? We don't know. Let's see.
And um, I have learned to take the time to grieve this process. I've made it, I've been very intentional about not having supplements during this process. And I say that, when I say that, I mean like I don't want anything to take the place of where I should have put God in the first place.
There she go. God. I always want to put God in the picture. You know, I'm not knocking God, you know what I'm saying, but come on. This would be the same type of lady who, when you're married, because I'm married. I've been married for over 5 years. Um, and when you're married, it's like unlimited sex. So this guy been having sex with you at least 1 through 3 times a day, for 15 years. And this would be the same type of woman and then she gave him children. This would be the same type of woman who would be looking for a guy to make $250,000 with no kids. She wants all the focus on a single man who makes $300,000 a year on her and her kids, which is probably not going to work.
Like literally. Me personally, I feel like our relationship did not last as long as it should have. Is because we didn't have God in His proper place. And I know it's easy to say, oh, we prayed and we both went to church together and we put God first and all these things.
That sounds like a good relationship. Why did you break up with this guy? He went to church. You know what I'm saying? I don't even go to church. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife, we got kids. I did not go to church, and you had a better man. He went to church with you and your child, and you guys' child, and it still wasn't enough for the modern woman, guys.
But are you really putting God first in your marriage? Like, was He first in your life from the beginning? And I can honestly say, just holding myself accountable, that He was not. And I think a lot of the struggles that we had I gone to God instead of other vices, had we.
You see, the main reason why a lot of modern women end up divorced and single, guys, you guys got to be very careful who you put who you ask to have your last name, who you decide to procreate a life with, because these women are so far gone. You know, she's talking about she has a whole husband who's under God. The man is over God. I mean, under God. And instead of her going to her husband to talk to God, she's putting God before her husband, which is an abomination. You know, these feminist church women. And it's absolutely insane. And it's gonna be some simp who comes out of nowhere, be like, oh, she's attractive, she got her nails done, she's cute, and he's gonna simp with her. He's gonna lay up with this woman who's been with a guy for 15 years, had 2 kids with, and he's probably gonna simp and buy his children Christmas while the dad pay child support. You know what I'm saying? The etc. And basically, this woman got a whole retirement plan off her husband, which is absolutely insane.
Built our connection outside of sex and outside of our desires, outside of the idol of marriage and wanting a marriage and what it looks like to be a wife and what it looks like to be a husband. All of those things can become an idol without you even knowing. And without you picking up the instruction manual to know what it actually says, to be a human, number one, to be someone who is Christ-like, number.
Guys, if you ever meet a woman and she's telling you about God, run. That is not a woman's place. For all the guys who goes to a church and a woman is a pastor, don't go to that church. That's not her place. God didn't appoint a woman, a woman over man, to teach the man. He appointed the man over the woman and the woman over the children. And this is why relationships with these Christian feminists never work. They never work because they want to say, "Oh, I done read this in the Bible and this and that," and then she don't realize that she's the one bringing the issues in a relationship because she's putting an entity You know, the entity of God over her husband. It's crazy.
One. And it's not going to be perfect, but to at least have the fundamentals down, to know what it looks like to walk like Christ, or just to have a reference so that every day that you wake up, you're like, okay, I'm going to kill the flesh because I know that yesterday I did this and it was not right. And I know this is not something that.
This is the same lady who eats pork chops, guys. This is the same lady who eats steaks. You know, and all of us as human beings are sinners. You know what I'm saying? This is the same lady who puts on makeup. And just like the fallen angels who fell from heaven with Lucifer, who Lucifer wanted to overthrow God, and he taught women how to arch their eyes and put on makeup. This is the same woman who's living the life of Satan. The same exact thing, guys. She's living the life of Satan, and she's coming to her husband, trying to tell her husband not to do something, and knowing she about to go eat some shrimps, which you're not supposed to do. She's about to go eat some swine, some pig, you know, which you're not supposed to do. But most of us, we still do it because, you know, this we were raised this way. You know, how can you perfectly walk along with God when nobody is perfect under the eyes of God? Nobody's perfect, but you had something that was almost perfect. You had a husband who went to church with you. She had a husband who went to church. Most of us black man, um, we don't go to church. I don't go to church. Period. You know, I believe in God. I don't go to church. You know what I'm saying? That's my personal walk with God. I believe, but you know, for her to have a man to go with her to church and be there with her for all them years, and she just come up with some foolishness in her head and leave her husband. She wants people to feel sorry for her. Don't do it.
God would have done. And I recognize that I'm not perfect and I am fleshly, so I'm always going to be terrible on my best day. But still, in the way that I treat others, in the way that I act at work, in the way that I don't involve myself in gossip, in the way that I, just go about everyday life, how are you doing that? And to add something else on top of it is saying that you already have your foundation with God as an individual. So now you're bringing another party into the picture. Baby, when I tell you we were not equipped, we were not equipped. And
you see what I'm saying? She brought information that she got from church, that she got from the Bible, and she thought that she could be the voice of God. You know, these women are so delusional. You know, and now this unlucky man, whoever he is, has to walk with the burden of knowing that he was with a modern woman for 15 years. Like 15 years from when you're 18, you're 30 some years old. You done wasted most of your life with this woman, and she up and wants to school you on God when when the man is the sole source of energy. The husband is the sole source of wisdom and knowledge and understanding that comes from God. Most women do not get it right and do not know how to sustain. Most Christian feminists do not know how to sustain a relationship because they think in their small dinosaur brain that they're going to put their God before their husband after 15 years.
And just healing and having that awareness now, just, I mean, I can sit here and point the finger and blame at certain things, but if I am a Christian woman and I'm honest with myself and I'm sitting here saying, okay, well, this happened and that happened and whatever, what have you, I can't blame nobody but myself, because I knew that I wasn't going to God. Even if he was being the worst person in the world to me, did you go to God? Even if I was being the worst person in the world to him, was I going to God? No, I was not, baby. I was going to drinking. I was going to my friends. I was.
You see? Now she's getting into the real reason why her relationship is messed up. You can't be an alcoholic and be a woman of God. You can't go and listen to put your friends, your family over your husband. Now she's telling the truth, guys. Now she's telling the truth.
Was going to. We gonna keep it a buck. When we were separated, and I.
And some women, when they drink, and some women they be so peaceful until they drink, and noticing they drink, they turn to a whole different person. They'll black out. They start getting overly friendly with a bunch of different dudes. They're argumentative, what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Was vindicted. I was very vindictive. And I was just like, you know what? If he gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. And I probably can do it better. So I just thank God for the awareness now, to be able to see when there were ample myself. I'm here saying, okay, well, this happened. I was just like,
I
you
don't
know
know what
what?
just happened.
When there were ample opportunities for me to do so, not to travel, not to put other things on my plate, when God is providing. So there's no need for me to put any additional things in my book on my plate. And I feel like I heard God say that, all right, either you're gonna trust me or you're gonna trust me. If you're gonna put other things in place right now, I think this is a breeding ground for you to be able to trust me. This is a beautiful space for you to be in. And I say that, and I feel that.
She feels that. Guys, I'm not gonna get into this whole video. I'm having some technical issues um, with the video. It's not the video stopped working. And I really don't want to get too much more into the Christian feminist. Um, who wants to put God first, but she's not. Because I'm telling you, around Thanksgiving, she's eating all type of ham and shrimps and other things that's not of God. She's doing that. She's drinking, you know, and she's just in her head. She's in her head, and she's thinking that she can do better. That she thought that she could do better without her husband, and now we're looking at the aftermath of her reflecting and trying to come with peace of the terms to with her that she destroyed her relationship and she want to get some validation from YouTube because this is a YouTuber. Validation from YouTubers so people can say you're right, girl, and stuff like that, and everything's gonna be fine. So she could just feel right. But guys, that's all I got for the video. If you guys want to finish this video, her link will be in the description below. And make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. And always remember, fellas, it's a mother movie. Over and out.